After waking up, former UN employee Gerry Lane, Brad Pitt, his wife Karen, Mireille Enos, and their two kids, Rachel and Constance, eat breakfast as a family. Constance, the youngest daughter, is informed by Gerry that he left his work in order to spend more time with the family. There are reports on conflict and talk of martial law on television. The city is afterwards besieged by a horde of zombies who move very quickly, biting individuals, and turning the bitten very quickly. They are sitting in Philadelphia's congested traffic at this time. During the panic surge, the Lanes are involved in a car accident, and Gerry discovers it takes a bitten individual about 12 seconds to change. The Lanes flee the city in a stolen RV as the mayhem grows. When they reach a huge grocery store close to Newark, New Jersey, Gerry is able to obtain some medication for his oldest daughter, Rachel, who is having a severe asthma attack as a result of the shock and stress of what has occurred to them. Karen loads up on whatever food she can find there. When robbers attack his wife, Gerry shoots one of them, releasing Karen. While Gerry is holding the gun over his head, it appears briefly as though a police officer may attempt to arrest him. However, the cop is actually just looking for supplies. The family seeks sanctuary in a Newark apartment building outside the store. An old friend of Gerry's, Deputy Secretary General Thierry Umutoni, Fana Makona, telephones the family and informs them that he is sending a helicopter to rescue them, but that it won't arrive until the next morning. Together with a Latino family, the Lanes hide out in a compact apartment. For the Lanes, a youngster named Thomas who speaks English is one of the kids. Gerry is unable to persuade Thomas' family to travel with them despite his belief that pushing forward offers the best chance of survival. The next morning, the Lanes try to access the roof by sneaking through the mostly deserted tenement, but the undead catch them and chase them up to the top. On the way, they run into Thomas. A group of zombies attack Gerry and spit blood on him. As he approaches the edge of the roof, Gerry prepares to jump off if the blood on his face causes him to lose his composure. He doesn't, and the family boards the helicopter to flee after fending off another swarm of the undead. The Lanes and a large group of other refugees are transported by helicopter to a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier off the coast of New York City. A team of scientists and military officers on board are assessing the breadth of the global pandemic. They arrive to find Thierry there, who sets them up with bunks. Dr. Andrew Fassbach, Ilias Gable, a virologist, contends that the plague is a virus, and that its source must be discovered in order to create a vaccine. Gerry is charged with assisting Fassbach in locating the outbreak's source due to his experience as a former UN investigator. In exchange for assurances that his family will be safe, Gerry grudgingly agrees to assist. He is then transported to Camp Humphreys, a military installation in South Korea, where the outbreak may have originated, according to an email that was received around 11 days earlier. Zombies assault Gerry's crew shortly after they enter the base. The terrified and cowardly Fassbach accidentally shoots himself to death after falling on the C-130 plane's ramp. Gerry and the group must flee after the gunshot informs the zombies that are prowling the area. Gerry discovers that the zombies are drawn to noise after being saved by the people of the base who are still alive. A Korean soldier was conducting research in the field when he was attacked and transformed, according to the base's soldiers, led by Captain Speak. His conversion took a lot longer than what had been seen in more recent times. The diseased man's body assaulted the base doctor, and they were both set on fire. In order to avoid being assaulted, one of Speak's men was able to stand in the middle of the infected people, as he relates to Gerry. The soldier responds that something has been hurting him lately when Gerry asks how he hurt his leg. The soldier walks with a small limp. Gerry speaks with Hoffner, an ex-CIA agent who was detained for supplying North Korea with weapons, played by David Morse. He gives Gerry a terrifying story of how the North Korean government was able to stop the spread by having all of its people's teeth extracted within a 24-hour period, preventing them from contracting the disease through bites. Hoffner directs Gerry to Jerusalem, where the Israeli Mossad had set up a safe area just before the epidemic was acknowledged, suggesting that Israel might have been aware of what was to come in advance. Speak's men use a fleet of bicycles to get the C-130 refueled and Gerry on board without making any noise. When Karen tries to call Gerry, his satellite phone goes off, and the zombies begin to attack. Gerry and the C-130 pilot successfully refuel the aircraft, and they make it to safety. In Jerusalem, Gerry encounters the head of the Mossad, Jürgen Warmbrunn, Ludi Bakken, who says that the organization had months previously intercepted communications from an Indian army general who claimed that Indian soldiers were engaged in a battle with Rakshasa, or dead spirits. The wall is strong and at least 50 feet high, and refugees, including non-Jews and Muslims, are being carried into the quarantine zone, according to Warmbrunn, who also reveals how the center of Jerusalem was walled in. A group of Muslim refugees start singing joyfully as Gerry speaks with Jurgen about finding a safe place to survive in. As soon as one of the women locates a microphone, the singing gets louder. The zombies outside are drawn to the singing and start to scale the security wall, forming a huge pile that eventually makes it into the city. Gerry observes the zombies ignoring an elderly guy and a malnourished youngster as they run. Segan, Daniela Kertész, a young Israeli soldier who was Gerry's escort, has a zombie bite. In order to stop the illness from spreading, Gerry hastily amputates her hand while counting to 12 to make sure she won't turn. Eventually, Gerry and Segan reach the airport and are able to catch a Belarus Airways flight when Gerry's pilot panics and takes off. When Gerry asks Thierry for the location of the closest WHO or CDC-style lab, they are pointed in the direction of a WHO research center in Cardiff, Wales. A stowaway zombie is let loose from the cargo hold while the plane is in the air and assaults a flight attendant. The other passengers are being attacked by her. Gerry blows out a grenade to kill the zombies, which causes the jet to crash close to Cardiff. Gerry has been impaled by a piece of metal, leaving Segan and Gerry as the only two people who appear to have survived the collision. He is located by Segan, and together they walk to Cardiff to the WHO facility. The US Navy suspects he is dead when communication is lost, so they deport his family to Nova Scotia. Gerry falls asleep at the facility's entrance after arriving and wakes up 3 days later while being strapped to a gurney. His wound has already been attended to and bandaged. The men observing him contact his wife's satellite phone enable him to persuade the facility's staff that he is there with a purpose. When Thierry answers the phone, he informs Gerry that his family was transferred to a land-based institution since they were deemed non-essential staff. Gerry is unhappy, but Thierry is able to show the dubious WHO personnel who Gerry really is. The elderly man and the sickly boy in Jerusalem were ignored, as was the homeless wino Gerry briefly saw in Newark that the zombies bypassed, and the tale the soldier with a limp told about the zombies ignoring him. According to Gerry's theory, the infected do not bite people who are seriously injured or who are already terminally ill because they would not be suitable hosts for viral reproduction. To test whether his concept works, he offers to inject himself with a fatal yet treatable disease. The building's pathogen storage wing, however, was taken over by zombies after a doctor unintentionally infected himself. Segan and one of the WHO doctors decide to follow Gerry as backup, and Gerry nonetheless makes the decision to retrieve a pathogen. Gerry eventually reaches the pathogen vault after they successfully battle their way through the undead. Gerry inserts pathogen vials from 2 different cabinets into the little box. The scientists are filming him and note that there are dangerous and incurable diseases in the left cabinet. As Gerry prepares to depart, he notices a zombie doctor outside. Without a good weapon at his disposal, he chooses to inject himself to test his notion. He pulls a vial at random from the box and displays it to the scientists along with a message that reads, "Tell my family I love them." After a brief pause, Gerry unlocks the vault's door. Gerry is able to leave the facility, through the army of zombies who have taken over, after the former doctor chooses to ignore him. Everyone at the facility celebrates the realization of his theory when he returns to the secure area, and the medical staff successfully treats him for the disease. In a secure area in Freeport, Nova Scotia, Gerry goes back to his family. A dangerous pathogen-derived vaccine that can serve as a form of camouflage for the soldiers battling the infected is created. The infection is spread throughout the world through airdrops. Hope is revived when human offensives against the zombies get underway. Russia has had great success using both military and civilian action to stop the pandemic. "This isn't the end," says Gerry. "Nowhere near." If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thank you, and see you on the next video.